coming up, we're here for the final day of CSUN 2025, and we brought our friends with us.
Yay!
This is Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. We're coming to you from California, USA, for the 40th CSUN Assistive Technology Conference. Here's your hosts, Stephen Scott and Sean Preece.
Hey guys, we're here for the final day in Anaheim, California, at least as far as coverage is concerned from CSUN 2025, the Assistive Technology Conference. I am here with some friends. We've got Sean Preece, of course, who's always by my side. So let me do that again. Always by my side.
Okay, thank you.
Sean, you well?
I am very well. I'm not by your side though, I'm all the way opposite you, but yes, I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, it's normally hundreds of miles. Now it's just feet.
Yeah.
It's no closer than we've ever been, to be perfectly honest. Listen, I want to go around the table and welcome our friends who are here with us for the hour. I've got Marty Sobo back with us. You remember, of course, we talked to Marty right at the beginning of the week.
Yep.
How you doing, Marty?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, mate, I'm good. Of course, part of the Unmute Presents podcast and many other wonderful podcasts we're going to talk about. Chris Cook is also here. Chris.
Hi there.
Long-time listener.
Yes, absolutely.
First time on the show. You've been on the show before. You sent in contributions.
Yes.
But it's your first time actually here. I have a question for you, Chris.
Yes.
How much do you like Double Tap?
I love Double Tap. It's my favorite show in the whole world.
Hey!
No pressure, no pressure, Chris.
That's
It's
good.
fine.
You should say that. It's fine.
Put her on the spot.
And Michael Babcock, a familiar voice, of course, here on AMI, on Kelly & Co., and here, of course, on Double Tap as well. He is also known as Mickey Onions.
And truly by Sean's side.
Truly by Sean's side. Now, here's the thing. I want to do, because we all hugged, we all said hello. I just want to ask first, and I'll maybe ask Chris this one, because this might be really awkward, Chris. When you met us for the first time, what was your thoughts? You know, from our physical structure point of view.
Wow.
Okay, so I thought Sean was really tall. I don't know what I thought before, but I was just struck by how tall Sean was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was so excited to meet both of you and
Whoa.
she was awesome.
No, you're avoiding something there. You're avoiding something.
Physically awesome. Stephen Scott. I think that's what
You've
she
got
said.
a great personality. I know what that means.
He's very jolly.
I'm very jolly, man. Listen, it's been wonderful being here, and it's our first time, right? I've never been. Neither of you, Sean.
No.
It's a really cool event to come to. We've been to CES in the past, and it's great, but this feels like home. Yeah. Actually, I've met so many people who I know who I've not seen in years, and I thought, what a great place to come to learn about tech. But actually, the social side's been so much better. Is that what you get, Marty, from this? Do you?
Yeah, that's my favorite part. It's the social, because there's so many people that we work with all the time, and it's hard to get everyone all together in the same place. Everyone's all over the place.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing about the event is just being able to get everyone together in the same place and actually be able to hang out in person. So
yeah,
that's one of my favorite things.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I love hanging out in the exhibit hall because I meet so many people that I might have heard their voices on podcasts or product demos that they were doing, and I finally get to meet them in person, and it's very, very awesome. So I love it, and it's good to hang out with my podcast buddies.
Yeah. Michael, obviously we've talked so many times. Meeting you in person is cool. You're exactly who I imagined you to be.
Okay, so some people told me I'm shorter than they thought, and I'll say it, Stephen. When you talk about your size, I wasn't expecting it. It's a good thing.
Hang on.
Oh wait, I don't know what that means.
Is that?
Stephen was more of a man than I thought he was.
Oh,
That's even worse.
That's worse, isn't it?
Quickly move on, Stephen.
Actually, you know what? At least you're honest. I like it, Mickey Onions.
Yeah.
You're about to be renamed to something horrendously worse, I guarantee you. New nickname for Michael coming soon. So Sean, look, you've not been here before. What's been your takeaway from this, from just from any of it? For either the tech or meeting people?
Well, yeah, of course there's that social aspect, but you could argue that happens at every event because, you do see a lot of the same faces. But I've got to say, this does feel different. There's a really nice atmosphere here. I think the layout is really good. And I've got to say, I think the accessibility is actually really good here. I have got lost a few times, of course,
We're blind, that's a rule.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? There's always been someone there that will say, "Hey, do you need help?" And I felt really comfortable actually just walking around on my own. So this is nice.
Can I also just say a huge thank you to everyone who's come up and said that they listened to Double Tap, they've been enjoying the show. It kind of blew me away. And I want to say as well to all the people who've been calling in on the phone number, of course our call-in number, but also on email as well. I want to say a huge thank you to you, because I've been getting some lovely comments from listeners who are listening through the week, some who are already here at CSUN who've been saying, hey, I'm here, I can't wait to meet you guys, hopefully I can. Some of you have been getting a chance to come up and say hello. It's been really, really humbling for us, because we kind of joke around a lot about doing this show, but we love it, and we're just so glad that so many other people love it too. So it means a lot to us. I was a little bit emotional yesterday, if I'm honest. It was actually really nice, and I don't get emotional about anything except Apple announcements. So what does that tell you? But look, let's talk about what we've been seeing, because I am kind of blown away by all the cool stuff, right? I mean, yeah, we've got all the specialist tech names you'd come to know. We've got eSight here, we've got HumanWare here, we've got Orbit Research, great products, that new Orbit player, which is kind of cool. All that stuff. But then you've got Amazon, you've got Google, you've got LG just behind us.
Yeah.
This is a 40-year-old event this year, right? This is celebrating 40 years. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
And what would that first event have been like? Michael, you were first here then, so you would know. If I'm the biggest guy, you're the oldest. I've just decided.
Okay,
there we go.
Good. I like it. I like
Born
it.
here.
I was born in this moment. Yeah, I know, right here.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you were talking about wanting to find out what tech was around 40 years ago. Did you ever find a session about that?
No, I didn't.
So that's like double tap research, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else will do it. Yes.
I mean, I just had an important birthday, so I know what technology wasn't around 40 years ago. So,
Well, I mean, look, let's be honest, most of the stuff that's here
Right.
wouldn't have been here. It would be Braille,
Yep.
it would be early, I mean, screen readers in their infancy then, I don't know the history that well, but...
It was Apple, basically, as far as I know.
JFW Jaws for Windows turned 30 this year.
Yeah, so it
so
was
that
another
tells you
10
something
years.
right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Jaws for DOS was before that.
Yeah.
And narrator was still terrible.
Yes.
I always kid the Microsoft people. I always kid them. So, what have you guys seen that's been cool? Okay, Chris, I'm going to come to you first.
Okay.
What have you been walking around? What have you been interested in?
Yeah, so I'm working my way through my long list of exhibits that I want to check out.
Can I just say, Chris has her Braille display on the table.
I do.
She's taking copious notes. You're reading through them as we go.
Only one who did.
Yes.
The only person who's done that. So what's in your list?
Yeah, so I think that the Glide is at the top of my list.
Okay.
Because I got to try it out last year, and it was being human directed, so it was not a remote, and they were directing it.
Yeah.
This time I got to walk with it, and it was on its own guidance system, and that was really, really great. And in fact, I was not holding it correctly, and I told the guy, hey, I don't have a guide dog right now, and this is what's throwing me off. And he said, oh, we tell all of our guide dog users to hold it in their right hand. And so I went cruising around the exhibit hall. It was really great. I loved it. Just loved it.
Okay, and you've tried it as well, Marty, first time, right?
I did, yeah. It was really cool. It's so different because it's not like a cane, it's not like a dog. It's, it's like a vacuum almost, is what it feels like. And you walk around and it kind of pulls you around where you want to go. And I'm excited to see what it's like when they implement the mapping services into it, so that you can literally go outside and say, take me to the closest coffee shop, right? And we'll do that.
It's just so cool. Who's bought one here?
I have.
All of them.
I have bought one. It's coming. I'm one of the founders, so I'm really excited.
Did you buy one, Michael? Have you tried it?
No, I've tried it, but I haven't bought one. Last time I tried it, I haven't tried it this year, but was in summer at the ACB convention, and they made some improvements, but I understand that they've made it a lot more smoother to use than what it was last year. And I think Chris was with me when we tried it at CSUN last year, and I had no clue that they were using remote control then. And of course, Amos and his team was super transparent about that, and gave clear information about it. And I'm excited to see Chris's experience with it because I knew she bought one, but I forgot about it.
There's no point asking Sean if you bought one because
Of
I know
course
you
I didn't. No.
Of course not. Of course not. But you're interested.
What about you, Stephen? Did you buy one?
I did. I haven't. No, I haven't put I haven't put my money down on it yet. I think I want to see it out in the real world.
Yeah.
I want to test it in the real world once the final version is there. And then, I'll be honest, I've said this in the show before, I would love a guide dog,
Yes.
but I just can't have a guide dog. I'm not out enough.
Yeah.
We record about 800 hours of audio a day. So, it's like we're not ever going to get out to use a guide dog, and it wouldn't be fair in it. Whereas Glide is, to me, the guide dog with a plug that you can just plug into the wall, and, you can take it out when you need it. And it's great. I just think it's a fantastic idea. I want to see it in the real world. I did go looking at canes, though. So it's interesting. Ambutech are here, and they don't sell here.
No.
I find that interesting,
Not
right?
allowed. Never allowed to sell anything here.
Yeah, no, it's strange, right? I thought they would have. I mean, all for them because they're a great Canadian company, but they sell through distributors. So you wouldn't be able to do that. A Werewolf Gear is another cane company. Now, Michael, you've tried them, haven't you?
Yeah, I have also.
You tried them as well?
Yeah.
So what was the experiences with a Werewolf?
I thought that the urban cane that they have, which is the one that's more about the city and stuff, they have one that's called the all-terrain cane that's more for going hiking and stuff like that. It's a bit heavier, but it is a lot more adjustable, but it's real durable, so it's good for, if you want to go off-roading and go up in the mountains and stuff like that. I thought that the urban cane was really cool, but it's a little heavy for everyday use, I felt like.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've been
it
hearing
seems
that.
like it's a bit heavy,
Yeah, Michael, you tried it, didn't you?
Yeah, I like my cane to be light, and the Urban Explorer was too heavy for me. Now, for someone who might, because by default with the Urban Explorer, you have a roller ball on the bottom, and I use 2-point touch, so that means you tap on your left side and you tap it on your right side.
Boo!
And for me, you couldn't do that with the Urban Explorer. See, I'm just trying to ignore it. But sliding it back and
Double
forth
taps.
made my wrist hurt.
No, I don't like that. No.
And you can't change the tips out on it.
Now, see, all right, so it's only the rollerball.
Yeah.
Oh,
It comes with
I
a
thought you
roller ball.
could change it, so good to know.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting.
Maybe you can change them. I'm not sure. But I thought that it was only the roller ball is what came with
Yeah,
it, and
that's
that was what
comes
you
with
had.
it. Yeah.
There's a surprising one from you, Michael. You were telling me before we started that you were quite interested in Procter & Gamble.
Yes. So Procter & Gamble were here today, this week, getting feedback from visitors about tactile representation on their different products that they offer.
Yeah.
So I'm at an Assistive Technology Conference interested in the low tech, because that's how it works. And one of the things that they did is they have like 4 vertical lines on the shampoo bottle. So if you've ever been to a hotel, like we are here, and there's 3 bottles hanging on the wall and you don't know which is which, I just put all 3 in my hair and figure eventually they'll get clean.
So do I.
But
Yes.
if you had this Procter & Gamble label on the shampoo, you would always know what they are. And they are very adamant at working with manufacturers, because if, let's say, Procter & Gamble puts 4 lines on their shampoo, and then another shampoo and conditioner company puts 2 lines in a triangle, then that's going to be very confusing, and more confusing than if they just put shampoo and Braille on it. So they want to help other manufacturers with understanding what they're doing and what feedback they've gotten, so those other manufacturers can use the same symbols. They're giving away samples of Tide Pod here, which are laundry soap, and they have a special symbol on the laundry soap box, and that could be helpful for people as well. So I'm really intrigued. The other thing that I'd say that has been very well represented at CSUN from multiple different manufacturers, and that is QR codes. I thought I would hate QR codes, and forever I struggled with them, but there's a lot of different tactile representation of it. And when you feel it, it almost naturally says, "Oh, try scanning this with my phone."
Yeah, I must admit, QR codes have never really settled properly, have they? I mean,
No.
so you've now got QR codes, and you have NaviLens as well, which is this app that you can download on your smartphone, and you can then hold your phone up, and it will essentially be able to see that code from a distance.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be right up against a wall to see the code or right close to it. Like anybody who's tried to connect WhatsApp on their computer will know they're trying to scan that code and taking the phone back and forward, scan the
But
damn
if you
thing.
take the NaviLens app though, and you have one of the stickers, right?
Yeah.
And you put it over there, for example, at that vendor table. Once the phone picks it up, then it gives you auditory signal as you get closer to it.
Yes, that's
So
right.
it gives you an auditory, once you catch the barcode, and then as you're moving forward, it will kind of let you know you're getting closer.
And you can even be guided in the app
exactly,
as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can print those. You don't have to go to a third party to say, hey, I need 40 NaviLens tags. You just print them out on your own paper.
I mean, they sound ideal, doesn't it? It sounds like the perfect system. I just wonder why it hasn't been picked up more.
I think people have a hard time figuring out how to print the labels, to be honest with you.
So, funny story. So I tried out the NaviLens thing, right? And I said to myself, I'm going to do a demo for Double Tap because this would be quite cool. So I printed out a bunch of them. And then I realized that I only had a black and white printer. And the codes are color. They don't work if they're black and white. So that was that demo scrap. I had to buy a whole new printer. It's ridiculous. But look, I mean, I think it's interesting to see how this is going. And you talked about low tech. But actually, some of the coolest solutions are the low tech ones. Like I was at the Ambutech stand. I mean, they don't sell them unfortunately there, but I got my hands on the ceramic tip for the cane, which is kind of cool. It's tiny. It's so small, and I'm thinking, how is that going to work? But apparently, it's very good. It never breaks. So that's cool. I also tried the Pathfinder 360, which I just think is such a cool name for a tip.
The ball that goes in every
It
direction.
goes in every direction.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It's like they said it's a bit like a suitcase wheel in the way it's designed, which actually makes total sense now. I've tried it. It's like, oh, okay, that's how. I couldn't understand how the ball could rotate 360 degrees yet still be attached to something.
Do you think it'll prevent jabbing?
I don't know. I mean, they
Okay.
do have the no jab cane,
Yeah.
so that's an option. You can pair it with that. I like these ideas. I like these concepts, and it's the low tech solutions that are coming out a lot. We're seeing them here, but also on top of that, we're seeing a lot of, instead of hardware, we've seen a couple of announcements, but a lot of software updates for products. I want to mention one because I want to get your take on it. So NVDA have announced recently a number of big updates for the screen reader. That's going to please Sean no end.
Of course, yes.
You spoke to NV Access, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And it's just, again, it just shows the commitment, right? They never stand still, NV Access. And I think, it's some really exciting stuff coming up.
I think the big one for me is, and it's not an add-on, I don't think. I think it's built into NVDA.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but what I've been reading, they're developing an LLM, a large language model. So using the AI to build in the ability to get image descriptions automatically in NVDA. Thoughts?
Is that done locally?
Yeah, where do they store the data? In a database somewhere online, or?
You're asking me,
Yeah.
like I have the answer.
Well, Sean
Like you
should
did a
know.
little bit of research. That's really intriguing, though. The local, being able to get images, especially if it's local, is a problem that I have with certain organizations, is that when you get information about a photo or you do OCR on it, you don't know for sure if that OCR is done locally. So if you're taking a photo of something and you want to capture that, maybe you're in a corporate environment where the information you're sharing needs to stay local. So if NV Access has gotten that to be local, I'm super excited. And I don't play with NVDA that much, but it might make me.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm
what
a
if you don't have an
JavaScript person.
internet connection? Then you're kind of hosed. So.
Yeah.
Well, it would seem sensible to have it local. I mean, if they're building the LLM themselves,
For sure.
then it should be small enough. I mean, it certainly seems to be more popular now. You can download a lot of these LLMs anyway.
Well, it would have to store locally, and then if you didn't have an internet connection, it would have whatever it was last updated up till that point. So the majority of your stuff would be there, and then the next time you connect to the internet, it will sync.
Like it might only know pictures of me when I was thin.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Michael's brought up some trauma.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But no, listen, it's really cool. And NV Access obviously announcing a whole range of things. We should maybe talk about the fact that there was an article recently that came out. David Goldfield posted it on the Tech VI list. And it was such an interesting article because I read it and I thought, this has been written by AI without a shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
It had the word revolutionizing in it, and as soon as the word revolutionizing's in it, you go, yeah.
Or game changer.
Yeah, game changer, all that.
Yeah.
Delve is another one. You see Delve a lot.
Yes.
So these are the clues. But it was actually, David took it down from that list because he realised, and others had realised, that it was all nonsense. That it was just. But I think it had actually come out of this image description story.
Right.
I think that actually the truth of it was in there, but it was just really badly written. So the question I'm asking, I suppose, is can we trust AI with this information? It can't even write the article about itself, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, let's go around and think about some other products, because look, there's lots of companies here. Chris, what's next on your list?
Oh yeah, next on my list are the Echo Vision glasses from Amiga.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they were really neat. They were lightweight. They had 2 buttons, one on each side of the arms of the
Legs.
yeah, I knew that.
Arms.
Was going to say that. Debate here. And so one of them was to take a picture, and the other one, I believe, is like an AI type of a button where you can ask it, questions. But basically, she took a picture, and the glasses described the lady in front of me that was running the booth. And it was a very long description, so I didn't get to ask her if you can shorten those up a little bit. And it even described her facial expressions and maybe her skin tone and some other things I wasn't expecting. And so, but she said definitely it can read, pages. I could read a book with them. And there was so much, because so much to discover about them, but the internet connection unfortunately was unstable, and so we couldn't continue. But she did invite us back, so I'm excited about those glasses. Not that I need any more glasses to add to my collection, but I'm a tech nerd. What can I say?
I got to play with them too. I got to wear them.
Yeah.
They felt really good. They weren't too heavy, and I got to hear the sound. The sound was really good on them.
Yes.
Clear, all of that. Unfortunately, I didn't get too much more of the experience because they lost their network, so we didn't get to really try all the AI part of it. But
So, I got a question for Marty and Chris about these. How was the sound in louder environments? Because I switched from using my Ray-Bans to using the Open Run Pro 2s because I could barely hear the Ray-Bans in the environment.
It was loud. It almost scared me. Of course, I'm kind of sensitive to sound anyway, but they were loud enough to definitely hear over the din. So yeah, I thought they were plenty loud enough.
yeah, I had no problem. They sounded good. I could hear over the crowd and stuff. I was surprised how loud they actually were. I'm not sure if they get way louder or way more quiet, but they worked with the environment I was in with a lot of people around. So it wasn't bad.
No, I think I was quite excited by them when I tried them out as well. I think the design is quite nice as well. Obviously, that could change before final production. But the thing I really liked was that you could charge them and use them at the same time. There is a USB-C port on one of the arms.
Legs.
And you can simply plug in a USB cable and charge them, to get
Run
the
them
extra.
off a power bank.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked how the design of the speakers was built into the arms or legs,
Thank you.
and it wasn't another thing hanging down.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of liked. So it didn't make them very heavy. It was just, they were streamlined like regular glasses.
Yes, absolutely.
If you didn't know what they were, you would just think they were regular glasses.
Now, am I dreaming, or was there also a battery charger that you could hang around your neck?
Yeah.
No. You're
Was
thinking
that the Echo Visions or
that
something
was
else?
eSight.
E-Sight.
Oh,
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where's the camera on the Echo Visions?
Oh, that's a good question.
I
Actually, I don't know.
I don't think she told us.
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we discover that. You see, that's the joy of discovery. I didn't know where the glasses were on the Meta Ray-Bans either.
Yeah.
I remember doing I think it was a Be My Eyes call when I got it, and I said, "Okay, is the camera here?" And I just randomly point my finger, and poke my finger in the poor person's eye. But this kind of device is interesting because it is tuned for us, right?
Yes.
It reminds me a little bit of what Envision's doing with the Envision glasses, and Ally, which actually came out of beta.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they announced that this week, which is kind of cool. So that's now available. Have you guys played with Ally? I think I may have
Yes.
asked you this already.
Yeah, I
You haven't
haven't
played
yet.
with it, Marty, no.
I have played with it.
And what are your thoughts? I mean, in comparison, okay, let's talk about it on its merits. Talk about it first and then compare it to everything else, because that's what we do.
So my thoughts are that it's a little slower than I would like, and I think I've been spoiled by ChatGPT. full transparency, I pay $20 a month for OpenAI, so that may influence the video experience. I do like the fact that you can easily go in and customize the personality of your assistant. But again, you can do that with ChatGPT when you go into the settings and modify it. There are multiple different voices, and I've heard several people complain that they switched to the Azure voices instead of the 11 Labs. But for me, it's not a bad tool. I think I'm going to stick with ChatGPT though.
Here's something to think about. There's all these glasses out. How are you going to stand out among the rest within a price point that the majority of people can afford without breaking the bank?
Yeah,
right? Because you're going from Meta, which is $500 about,
yeah,
and then where are you going to go from
$300.
there? So everyone else has to compete in that zone to be able to be competitive and have a good product without being so expensive that you can't afford it.
So who's got the Meta Ray-Bans here?
I do.
Yes.
Michael has them
Well,
also.
I guess I should verbally say, hand raised.
Yeah, that's good. That works better. So I want to know what your thoughts are on Meta AI on the glasses, using it, because we in the UK don't have access to it yet. We keep asking, hello, but no, nothing. It's not. We understand it's more. We've learned a little bit more about that this week. Actually, we're learning that the process of essentially Meta have had to work with the UK government to try and get their terms and conditions agreed.
Yeah.
From the UK government side, and making sure that privacy and various other issues have been resolved. They seem to have been done. So the T's and C's have been upgraded on Meta's side. That was actually done back in December.
Yeah.
But the actual rollout of Meta AI fully, with Look and Describe and all that, hasn't yet materialized in the UK. So that's where we're at the moment. You guys have it.
Yes, but you're here. Where are you right now?
Yeah, I know, but I'm only for a week.
Yeah.
I'm only for a week. I don't live here.
Yeah, but you have a week to play with them.
I
Yeah, I
actually
know.
tried. As soon as the plane touched down, I did try look and tell. And of course, you need to reset, sign in again.
Forget
So
it. Yeah,
I didn't
no.
do it.
I like the concept of it, and when I first got it, I'm like, this is cool. And you know what? I don't use them anymore for that. I just use them for a head-mounted camera and fairly decent headphones. It is nice to be able to say look and describe, but my thing is the camera is horrible for reading text, and most
Yes.
of the time,
Yes.
I want to use them to read text.
Yep. I agree. That's why I don't use mine as much. I think the sound is fantastic. It just as headphones. But
Yeah, I agree.
mostly I'm about finding something, and I do have the Envision glasses too. So I'm like, I have a really great pair of glasses that can read text well. But I just enjoy knowing what's out there, and I'm looking forward to knowing where the Echovisions go, because I think they're really going to probably read the text really well.
I don't worry so much about the camera in the future because, look, let's be honest, we want them for OCR.
Yeah.
But the reality
Right.
is that most people want to take high quality, good pictures
Right.
of whatever it is they're looking at, right? So, they want to take pictures, they want to send them on Instagram, they want to take pictures in the mirror so they can take pictures of their face on a regular basis and share them online, which is fine. And that's why we know that the camera will improve. And there's certainly rumors of new devices this year, potentially. I mean, Meta Connect is coming back up again in September. It only feels like tomorrow, doesn't it? I mean, it's
Right.
like we just had Meta Connect a few months back, and yet it feels like we're heading towards it again. And I think this will be a cool year because look, Meta clearly know these devices are popular, they're selling very well, so they're going to be ramping up on that. And let's be honest, in the mainstream sense, they're first to market, really. Google, Apple, they're all behind.
Yeah. So have you seen that Be My Eyes video, Stephen, where they walk through the store and have Meta describe where things are and then walk them through checkout? That has me really intrigued. And
That was the Envision. So that was Envision and Meta, wasn't it?
Envision, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was on Project Aria, which is this research project.
Yeah.
And you're right. Envision had worked with Meta and has been working with Meta to bring this indoor navigation. That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
It is.
Something I'm excited about that's going to be the next thing that's going to be coming out is when the glasses can show people's expressions, because people who are blind can't tell what other people's expressions are,
Yeah.
so they miss that whole social cue. And once the glasses can tell people's social expressions, that's going to be huge.
So that's what happened this morning, though, with the description of the lady who was running the booth. It did say that she had, a fairly neutral expression. I always wonder about those things, though. I mean, how accurate are they?
Do you remember those apps? Remember there used to be apps that you could download and it'd be like, am I smiling? And it would say yes. And it was like that early. You could tell that was the early development of all this stuff, right? That was the kind of learning they were using. And of course, it was ridiculous and seemed silly back then, but it actually is really useful if you could do that. I would use it on my jokes to other people. If I say something,
Laugh.
See if they're smiling.
did you laugh?
Yeah.
Because I'm not hearing anything, so I've just assumed no.
One thing that I really liked using here at CSUN, and it was hit and miss for me last year, but this year it was very surprisingly good, is Good Maps. And I really liked the experience that it gave me to, it vibrated when I got off track, and when I got back on track, it would stop vibrating. It would play a little sound. You chose what room or what elevator you wanted to go to, and it literally led you right to it. Now, I don't think that it has human detection, which I think could be helpful, because it tried leading me straight through a crowd of people. And you know what? I was just following what my Good Map said.
Yeah, that's what we do. Just barge through.
Yep.
Yeah, I used it as well, and I've said how much it impressed me when I was traveling through train stations. It blew my mind. I did try it yesterday, trying to get from Starbucks to a lift, and it took me all over the place. But again, it was very busy. Lots of people sort of obscuring the view, so I gave it a bit of a break on that, a bit of a pass, but still, it's such a nice feeling.
There was one point where it wanted me to walk through a wall, and I tried telling it I can't do that yet.
And it simply didn't listen.
No.
What was it?
But you're
thinking?
Michael Babcock. You can do anything you want.
But do you think it slows down because there's so many people here trying to use it at the same time?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, but it was still pretty stable. Like I was impressed.
Can I tell you, I found it a little bit sluggish to use.
Yeah.
Which I found quite interesting. And I tried it on day one. I got here, and then on the first day, I'd come out of my room. And it's, so I've talked about this before. There's the coolness of these apps, right, that help you navigate. But then you have to bring in reality.
Yes.
So it's like you're standing there, you get it set up, you're scanning around, and then within like 5 seconds, someone's over saying, "Can I help you?"
Yeah.
And you just want to say, "No, I want to do it myself."
But stay close just in case.
Yeah, exactly. If you hang on for 30 minutes. I told the story, and you'll probably remember this, me telling you, I was at NFB a number of years ago, the NFB convention in Orlando, I think it was, and I talk about Plant Pot Man. Remember the Plant Pot Man story?
He's a hero.
This guy who just kept walking round and round this plant pot. And I know that guy. I was today walking around the lobby in a circle trying to get out. I thought, I am now Plant Pot
That's
Man.
karma.
Yeah.
But it's a cool app, and it's funny. I haven't used it. And of course, typical as it is, I said to Sean, this Good Maps app's actually pretty good.
I know, after I was saying
Who
just
knew?
how impressed I was. Yeah, you know what? It's all right.
I'm just quite impressed by it.
So you know what you need along with the Good Maps is a mini guide.
Oh,
I
have
have
you got
one.
one?
That'd be
I
a
have
good
one
idea.
of those, yeah.
Oh.
Anybody wants to try it out?
I want to try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's been talking
You
about
have
it.
one with you?
I do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
Right, we'll do that one. Okay. So interesting. We've talked about Glidance, and they do seem to be the star of the show. I'll be honest, they do, because everyone seems to want to talk about it and try it out.
Yeah.
There is another smart cane here, of course, and I know that Glidance isn't a smart cane, but let's just put
Go
it in
with
that
the
category.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, let's just go
Let's
with
go
it.
with that segue. It's fine.
That's a Sean Preece yes.
Yeah.
What about WeWalk? Anyone tried that?
Nope.
So
I have not
WeWalk
tried
Smart
it.
Cane 2 is obviously out. It's available. No one tried it.
Nope.
No.
Thoughts about it? Interested in it?
It depends.
Uh-oh.
We're all friends. It's okay, you're all friends.
Quickly move on.
Great segue.
Do you?
I mean, it depends what kind of capabilities does it have. Built-in navigation. How is it going to compete and be better than something that's like an Amitech cane, but maybe not quite as advanced as like a Glidance? Where is it going to fit in, and what's going to be its special thing?
So the sell for WeWalk is that you've got that chest-height navigation, or not so much navigation, but chest-height awareness of what's going on. So if you're walking towards a tree branch, you'll feel that vibration. So that's where the WeWalk cane comes in. You have the navigation option through the phone app. I'll be honest,
Right.
I feel you could use any app, but they've opted to create their own, which
Okay.
is fine. And it does link in with the cane, so you do get a little bit of tactile feedback. There are buttons on the device to control, but not the entire phone, I don't think. It's more for controlling the app itself.
Yeah.
You've got ChatGPT built in, So, you can find
Why not?
out, what episode of Ally McBeal is on tonight.
While you're walking.
Whilst you're walking
not
down
into
the
a
street.
tree, right?
Yeah, exactly. While you walk into the tree.
Yeah.
So, I see where that is kind of coming from. That's the idea of it. But is it what people want?
Well, you can judge by the response time here. Right?
None of us looked at it. None of us checked it out.
But is it a victim of timing? I mean,
think so.
because of Glidance, people are simply, or I don't know. Is that enough? The features that you mentioned, Stephen Scott, the one I have there, of course, is the the sonar, obstacle, chest height, whatever it is, detection. Is that enough to justify the price of the cane? I'm not sure anymore.
Do you know how much it is?
It's Stephen.
I want to say $600 or $700.
Is that US? Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
And I like my light cane, and I anticipate that having ChatGPT in my cane is going to make it heavier. So I think that's why I wasn't
I don't
really
think
interested.
ChatGPT has a weight.
Yeah.
To it.
I don't think
That's
the
how-
data model is stored in your cane. I think you're right.
you're not
Maybe
carrying the
it
whole
is.
server around in your cane.
I learned something here at CSUN that was really interesting, and I don't know if you were aware of this, Stephen, but there was a recap this morning about Google and the things that Google has done over the last year. And one of the things that they've done is brought OCR, automatic OCR, into the Chrome browser. So if you open a PDF file in the Chrome browser, it's going to automatically run OCR on that and then make that document accessible. So you don't need a third-party tool to be able to read information out of inaccessible PDFs.
Wow.
Do you know, when we talk to Google, I think sometimes they do fantastic videos online. They do a series of what's new in Google accessibility on YouTube. And it's a bit like a fire hose of information because there's a lot of stuff in there. It covers a lot of ground. It covers a lot of different disabilities and needs. And I think that's cool, but I think the stuff gets lost.
Yeah.
I feel that a feature like that is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because these are the tools we can use every day, and the fact that it's built into that browser. It's funny because you think about the Chrome browser, and of course Google have got the Chromebook, but it doesn't feel like they developed for the Chromebook. They just developed for the Chrome browser, which then everyone benefits from, right? It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they even have a screen reader in it called Chromevox.
Chromevox, yeah.
Yeah. So, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say that usually I don't open PDFs in my browser. I always open them, and then have to do something with them later. So that's really great to know that I could take that setting and change it so that I could actually open them in the browser. So.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, we mentioned price earlier about some products. One device that's coming in and from a company that we know well, a new device called the Orbit Player from Orbit Research. Now this was initially launched in India. We didn't know if it would ever make it to these shores, to the US or Canada or anywhere else, because I think, if I'm honest, when I saw it at first, I thought, oh, here we go, it's the Victor Reader Stream. In a cheaper form, right?
And what's wrong with that?
Well, fine but if not available to us, then it's no use to us, right? But it is now available. It's across India, but it's also now available, or coming available later this year across the US and Canada and the UK, and I think Australia as well. I do have the price, guys, so I can tell you how much it's going to cost.
Okay.
It's going to come in the region of, but let's just say it is this price, $300 US.
That's great.
Now, we're talking here about a device which is, I'm going to say it, very similar to the Victor Reader Stream. Same access, same abilities, note-taking. You can record your voice notes on there. You can download all your documents onto the full-size SD card reader built-in, which is, again, the same as the Victor Reader. You've got connected libraries on there as well. You can get an FB Newsline and Bookshare and all of that on the device. So what's your thoughts on that in terms of price point compared to the Victor Reader Stream, the Sense Player, and the various other devices, these handheld media devices that are out there right now?
Well, I think where is it going to come in? Because, for example, you have the Victor Stream, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of closed, and you can do some things on it. What everyone wants to do, podcasts, books, stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Then you have the Sense Player, which is more of an Android open. You can download stuff from the Android marketplace, and it also has the option to be able to have a camera or not have a camera. So if you wanted to do OCR, you could spend a little more money and get the camera. So where does this fit into that kind of two spots,
Yeah. Chris?
I think the price point is going to be a real winner because there are people who just don't have the income to buy that some of the other machines. And I think that price alone and the fact that they can connect to their libraries, and if they can also connect to podcasts, that would be great. I think it'll be really a good seller here.
Do you know what the battery life is like on it? Because $300 makes it something that I might be interested in, and I don't like having a separate device because I can honestly do everything from my phone.
Yeah.
But if it has decent battery life, then it might be worth exploring, especially at that $300 price point. That blew me away.
Yeah.
I used to call Orbit the Tesla of assistive tech, and I think considering where we are in the world right now, I think we should probably stop saying that. But you know what I mean by that is it felt for a long time, as Tesla did at one time, it took a long time for products to actually emerge. They'd be announced and then we'd wait a year and then we wouldn't see the product, and it seemed to be getting a handle on it now. I think we have to remember that in the assistive tech space it is more challenging, and it's been challenging for companies to get products out there. So I think we have to acknowledge that, and we say, look, let's cut them a little bit of slack. They've been trying to get products out. I mean, the Optima Braille laptop from Orbit, we've been waiting on for a long time. It's now apparently going to be 2026, mid to late, before we actually get a chance to see that. That's the Windows laptop, which is built into, it has a keyboard. By the way, I also got hands on the Orbit Q40, which is the, now, I have a Mantis Q40.
Yep.
I love that they call it the Orbit Q40. That must make Human feel really happy.
Yeah.
But okay, they call it that. I tried the keyboard. I am a keyboard nut, as you know.
Yeah.
I tried the keyboard on the Orbit versus the Mantis. Which one do you think I preferred?
I think the Orbit.
I'm saying Orbit.
I loved the Orbit keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
would
reminds
sell
you of
my
the MX
Mantis.
keys, doesn't it?
I would sell my Mantis for it.
Yeah.
That's the difference in the
Wow.
keyboard. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because first off, good key travel, very similar to an Apple Magic keyboard. Very similar. Chiclet keys. You also have those concave in the keys as well.
Yep.
So very much like my favorite keyboard, the MX keys from
Yep.
Logitech. So it's like someone took, someone took the MX keys and the Magic keyboard, left them alone in a room for a night, and in the morning,
And then
this
added a Braille
beautiful
display.
baby was born.
Yeah.
And it had a little brother called a Braille display built in.
Yeah.
So, absolutely amazing. I've got to say, I would get my hands on one. And the price point is good. We're talking, offhand, I think we're talking $900 US and then up to, I think, $1,500 to $1,600 US for the 40. There's a 20 cell version as well. Does this work in the market? I mean, again, price point is everything, right?
What's the price point on it?
So we're talking, I think it starts about $900. I get mixed up with all the different pricing around the world, so check
That's not
local
too bad. It
pricing.
kind of fits right in the middle there.
That's a 20 cell
Yeah.
Braille display. 40 cell, you're kind of double again,
Yeah.
which makes sense. Check local pricing though for that. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately we've got a good quality device here at lower cost.
A daily driver, right in that price. Is
Yeah.
it good for most people? I think that, at that price, let's just call it somewhere between $800 and $1,500, depending which model you get.
Yeah.
That's still a lot cheaper than some of the displays you get are thousands of dollars.
It's just good to see competition, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's Orbit's thing, though, isn't it? Is to try and disrupt the market a little bit, and they're doing a great job.
I mean, Chris is a big Braille display user. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I really enjoy the signage quality Braille on the Orbit products. And a lot of my students need that because they might have neuropathy or lack of finger sensitivity somehow. And they're great. And then a lot of people don't want to do Braille keyboard entry. They really want maybe they lost their vision later and they really want to type. And so I think it's really a really excellent price point. I love the signage quality Braille, and I love the fact that people can type on a keyboard that's familiar to them.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So you present the At Your Fingertips podcast,
Yes.
and I want to ask you to weigh in on the debates. Perkins keys versus QWERTY keys. Where should we be in 2025?
I don't think there's one or the other.
Wrong answer.
Well, okay, so I'm blind from birth, so I've always done Braille keyboard entry. So that's comfortable for me. Also, I love my job to the end of the earth. I love it, love it, love it. But a lot of times when I'm on a QWERTY keyboard, I think we're on the work clock. And so QWERTY keyboard reminds me of working, and I love my work. I really do. But relaxing with a Braille display and I'm doing the Braille keyboard entry, that's relaxing to me. It has a whole other mindset for me personally.
But I think you would recognise though, and you teach students as well, right?
Yes.
When you're teaching students, they're using QWERTY keyboards more, no?
They are. Some of them have to learn how to touch type because they've been looking at the keys, but they would be more comfortable generally with a QWERTY keyboard.
So, okay, I like you, I have a friend who totally blind since birth. She says, I always do this. She has a Focus 40. She has it sitting in front of her keyboard.
Yeah.
And she says, I use the Braille display and then I just reach over and I bypass the keys on the Focus and just go straight to my QWERTY keyboard. She said, because I don't want to have to figure out how to do all the stuff I'm doing every day on Windows, with this Braille display or Braille keyboard.
Right. Yeah.
This is where the HumanWare Mantis Q40 and the Orbit Q40 and 20 really do stand out. It's strange to me though there aren't more of them.
Yeah. Right.
So staying on the Braille topic, Vispero also announced today that coming soon, if it's not available yet, they are now going to represent the different styles that are like bold via UEB on the Braille displays, which has been asked for years now. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I want to mention, one of the big mainstream companies here is Sony, or is it Sony? I never know how to pronounce that.
It's Sony, Stephen Scott.
I like Sony.
And it's ARMS. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Mic drop. Who's that?
We're going to have a poll on Mastodon, I think. Arms or legs? Yeah, let's do that.
Arms and legs,
There you
Mastodon
go.
poll, here we go.
Arms or legs? What do you prefer? Yeah.
What's your Mastodon, Stephen? How do people find you?
I have absolutely no idea. I just type in double tab and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'm in there somewhere.
There you go.
It's like doubletap.something.com/something else. I don't know.
Please don't search for that.
Yeah, go
We
search
don't
for it.
know.
I have no
Just
idea.
search double tap. You'll
I don't
find it.
understand that thing at all. But I want to talk about Sony because they have been showcasing a lot of products here actually, and I kind of thought they're going to talk about television, and then I remembered a while ago they had announced a camera that had a screen reader built in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want one of these. So I actually have, because when we do the show back home, I use a camera called a Sony A7C.
Right.
And I had heard the A7C had the screen reader. So there I am, onto the Sony website, or Sony, went on there, and I downloaded my firmware for my A7C, and I'm going to update this, it's going to be great, I'm going to get the screen reader, and I installed it all, no screen reader. It turns out I have to buy a whole new camera, which is the second edition of the A7C, so well, that's that. Anyway, we're in talks with Sony, so it's all fine. But here's the thing, this is a really unusual product, if you think about it, to have a screen reader. But why not? Right? Why
shouldn't people like in production, for example, like us right now?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we be able to navigate the menus on the camera screens and go through the settings and set it up how we need it to be? Like that I feel like it should be there. Why not?
So I think, and I know he's here somewhere, but James Rath, the blind filmmaker, is here this week, and I would not be surprised if he already has one of these. He would be right into this. He would love it because ultimately this is a camera that he can use with low vision. And that's what it's about, right? I mean, we may not use that kind of camera to take pictures the way that these guys do. I do, but my camera sits in a fixed position, and if anyone touches it, well, they get told off. But I don't even touch it. I leave it alone. I'm terrified of that camera because I don't know any of the menus. I don't know how any of it works. But they also showed off. This is a little bit more geeky, and it certainly seems more for broadcast. But again, it shows you where they're thinking. So they brought out this screen. It's like it almost looks like an iPhone, but it's not. But it does run Android, and it's basically a screen which acts as a monitor for your camera.
Right.
So a big, huge viewfinder for your camera. But then it's also fully accessible. It's got TalkBack in it, and you can broadcast to the cloud. And I'm thinking of all these creators who want to get into these industries,
Right.
who would now be able to do that because of these types of projects. And the guy who was showcasing it here, he's legally blind himself, which begs the question to us out of the UK: what is illegally blind? What does that look like? But he's an amazing guy. El Dean I spoke to over at Sony, and he's, as I say, legally blind. He's been using this product. He talks about it. It kind of makes me feel good about the future for the kids of tomorrow growing up that could actually get into these industries, right?
Yeah, well, everyone should be able to, all the equipment should be able to have screen readers in it so that anybody can use it. Same thing with, audio interfaces and microphones, hardware, all that stuff. There's so many things that make it impossible for people like us to use because of even simple stuff like having some kind of alert of whether it's even on or off, or whether you're recording or not recording.
We were just talking about this, right? So the microphones. So we are using these microphones. The ones we're talking to you on are the Rode Interview something Pro, I think.
Yeah, they're called the Rode Interview Pro.
Right.
And here's my deal with them. You cannot tell as a blind person whether it's on or off because there's no auditory, and you cannot tell whether you're recording or not recording.
Yeah.
So you have to buy another component to be able to plug in headphones to be able to make sure you're monitoring yourself to make sure that the thing is actually doing what it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, right? I mean, all it has to do is make a sound when it comes on, make a sound when it goes off, and make a sound when you're recording, and
so
when you stop recording.
Now, actually, before I came out, I did actually buy one of the new Zoom H2 Essential, I think it is.
Yeah.
And that's pretty nice. I mean, like
the H4
accessible.
Essential or the H6 Essential.
Exactly. So, what an amazing range of products with accessibility literally built in from the second you turn it on. It starts talking to you. It takes me back to the days of the old Olympus. The old Olympus recorders, you turn them on, they start talking. I loved those devices. I loved them. But no, it's great to see. And, I know that, I think you had a bit of a tour.
I did.
Sony
I was like you, Stephen. The Sony booth, I thought, okay, there's going to be a PlayStation, there's going to be TVs. Right? And then you go through, I spoke to El Dean as well. By the way, coolest name ever, named after Elvis Presley and James Dean. So
that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Absolutely.
El Dean. And, I was just so impressed with how passionate he was. And as a partially sighted guy himself, the commitment to accessibility in the cameras, was really impressive. I also saw the talking kiosk, the accessible kiosk that they have. And it's installed in over 920 Best Buys for showcasing products. It was very cool with Braille and audio description of the product. And also the over-the-counter hearing aids. Now, I've never got hands-on with these before, but they were so incredibly small. They had two versions there. One was absolutely tiny. You wouldn't even see it in someone's ear. And the second one just...
Sorry.
Well done. The second one just looked like an earbud. They mentioned how sometimes there's a stigma to hearing aids, and making it look like a regular earbud was something really useful. So, I was really surprised by Sony. They got some really cool stuff there.
Listen, we're about to head to the wrap-up point because, well, that's it. Our time is up here. We're being kicked out, I think, of the country, Sean, end of the week. So, that's it. So we're heading home. But I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone at CSUN and also to everybody here. Again, I want to say hi and a huge thank you to all the listeners who've been in touch, those who've come to meet us as well. It's been absolutely amazing. Guys, it's been brilliant meeting you all in person. We're all going to be doing a lot more stuff together in the future, which I'm so pleased about. So we'll talk more about that in the coming months. But I honestly just want to say thank you to you guys for being so supportive of us here, giving us all your time. Michael, thanks for nothing after the comment at the start.
So you're never going to hug me again.
No, definitely not. I have to tell you, my weight loss drug isn't working hard enough, clearly. But I will say this. I want to say a huge thank you, especially to our wonderful team behind the scenes, one of whom is Mark Aflalo, who's over there. And I want you to come in, Mark, because...
you're lucky I'm still here.
He's still here.
That would have been awkward.
Nobody shows up.
I know. So it's like so Mark is here. I have hit him with every possible scenario you can think of.
Have you really? Because I'm expecting more.
Yeah. No, we're done.
Really?
Yeah. This is it. But no, thank you for everything you've done.
My pleasure.
Mark. Honestly, it's been fantastic. It's always good to spend time with you.
Yeah, you too.
And it's just been great.
Great to meet all these people around this table too.
Yeah.
Except Sean.
Thank
That's
you.
all right.
Thanks,
And
Mark.
I was going to say
Well
something
done.
nice about Michael, but I heard the comment at the beginning.
Exactly. How rude is that?
I know.
So I also want to thank Enrica Delanro as well. She's
She's
from
somewhere
AMI.
here.
She's around somewhere. Jane, of course, who didn't lose a bag.
Well done, Jay.
No bags
Yay.
lost. I was amazed and stunned. Honestly, I was like, what? I also want to say a huge thank you to our wonderful supporters and sponsors who got us out here. AMI, of course, and all the team at AMI Audio, even Mr. F.
God bless you, Mr. F.
Who I think this week has been drinking more whiskey than you can imagine with this podcast. And also, a huge thank you to Glidance and Be My Eyes, who have supported us. You know, Glidance are the star of the show, but they're the star for us, certainly.
I think so.
And Be My Eyes, I mean, just incredible. Hey, listen, guys, one thing I meant to mention, the Mac app for Be My Eyes coming very soon. Yeah. That's going to be
And
cool.
you know what else? You can now find Double Tap in the Be My Eyes app right
You
now.
can, yeah.
Nice.
You see, if you just partner with people, great things happen. So yeah, it's been wonderful, and thank you to everybody for taking part and being involved as you have been. That is it from us from CSUN. We're going to head home. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. Plenty more to come, I promise you, because we recorded so much content we couldn't possibly air it all this week. But we are going to have all that content available for you on the shows coming. But also don't forget to check out doubletaponair.com, which is where you can catch up with all of the episodes so far. And of course, all the content that's already available online, you can go and check out right now. We're across social media, we're everywhere else you can think of. Go check it out. We're on Mastodon somewhere.
Yeah.
Check it all out online. That is it from us from CSUN. Everybody wave bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.